Asia, you are that girl. I know you see me. Can you see me? KP, I know you see me calling you, girl. Ooh, KG, that was cute. Yes, ma'am, KG. I know this service is working. I have Verizon Wireless. Our service don't break down. No. Yes, Janae. Work me, Janae. You have an incoming call, girl. Answer the phone. Now. Hey Maya, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I just left from voting.
Oh,
You know
period.
we got
Yeah, I'm gonna be going back home soon to vote.
okay, cause you know we gotta vote. We have got to vote
We
now.
have to vote.
Yes. So do me a favor. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maya Wilson, and I was a part of the Fabulous Dancing Dolls. I was also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and I'm now currently a full-time engineer and exploring other things. I do YouTube with my boyfriend, just a lot of other fun stuff.
Yes, ma'am. So before becoming a dancing doll, what other dance experiences did you have?
So I was studio trained a majority of my life,
Mm.
starting at 3 years old and then up into college. I was in a studio. I started out doing like brick classes,
Mm-hmm.
and then after my parents saw that like I took dance seriously, they were like, "Okay, we're gonna put real money behind it." And then I
Right.
went to like one of the more elite studios, and I was there for about I think 4 or 5 years of my
Mm-hmm.
dance career. In between that, I just did like some Nutcracker shows
Mm.
in the Baton Rouge area. Not too much, honestly. Like I had a lot of ballet, tap, and jazz training,
Right.
but not much outside of it.
So you didn't dance in high school or anything? Wow.
No, and I that was like the thing that I was like in my head the most about when
Yeah.
it came to tryouts for dolls, because I was like, oh my god, I've never danced with the band.
Right.
Like I felt like I already had that disadvantage going against me, but if it's for you, it's for you. Because I
Right.
used to be upset like when I missed the LLI tryouts. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh dang, I missed it. That was
Mm.
my chance to
Yeah.
like get used to a band,
Right.
but it all worked out. I even tried to like have a thing where I could go to Baton Rouge High and then dance with McKinley, but
Mm-hmm.
my mom was like, "Girl, I'm
Oh.
not doing all of that."
Oh my God. So, what made you choose the dancing dolls?
They're just super elite. There
Yeah.
was no other squad for me, especially being that growing up, when my parents brought me to the games,
Mm-hmm.
I was always at Southern home games and then at Bayou Classic. So I saw the dolls all the time, and it was
Yeah.
just like I never saw any other team. So it was just like
So,
that's what I'm gonna do.
so who was like your first captain that you like watched fully?
Oh, okay. So I got obsessed with them with Sierra,
Yes.
but I didn't start like really studying them
Mm-hmm.
until April.
Okay.
Like when I was learning counts, it was like okay, that was the April era. But like when I really got obsessed and was following them and stuff, that was the Sierra. So
Okay.
around 12, 13.
Okay. So what would you say the definition of a dancing doll is?
A dancing doll is just all around. It's more than just dancing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously that's a huge part, but it's a lot of class and just exclusiveness about you.
Right.
Technically trained dancers,
Yeah.
just the all around class and poise of a woman. Honestly,
Yeah. Y'all just move with y'all bodies so smooth, and
yeah,
you give a little shoulder here and there.
right. So pizzazz.
Yeah. How was your first tryout experience, and how does it differ from your other tryout experiences?
14, 14 was like the most the same as previous years.
Okay.
So like it was when you had to bring in like not an hour, a minute or a minute 30 seconds of a dance yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then you also learned their choreography that they had. There was no interviews. So that's why I say it was the most like the previous years, because the big switch came in 2015 when they added interviews, and then they shortened our dance, I think that's when they shortened it to like 4 8 counts. So 14 was definitely the most different. But it was less nerve-wracking for me because I didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
So as I'm going through tryouts, it's like, okay, this is supposed to happen. But the years after, then it got more nerve-wracking because it's like I kind of know what to expect, but then they switched it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 14 was nice. It was very smooth sailing. Honestly, when I made the team, my boyfriend was mad at me because after they announced the team, he like, you made the team, like you've been talking about this team forever. You finally made it. And I was just like in a daze, like, oh, I really made the team. He was like, stop being so nonchalant about it.
So like right once, like when you realized you made the team, like how did you feel about that?
Oh, it was really surreal. It was like, I remember our first practice with the band. It was like, outside with the band, and they were going through their drill, and I'm pretty sure my craft sisters remember this moment, but like they were marching, and then they were coming from out the end zone, and then they they played away from us, and then they did a drill where they kind of turned towards us, and they started playing, and we was just like, that's when it was like, oh, you're dancing in front of the huge spot. Like, this is real. You're really on this team. Yeah. So it was amazing. I loved the entire 14 season. It was just so fun.
So how was it crabbing under KP?
Oh,
especially in 14 because that was her first year as captain.
Right. She was the best ever. Honestly, we couldn't even tell that it was like she's not a senior, this is only her third year. Yeah. Because she did it with such ease. It was like she had a really natural like leadership vibe. Like it came to her very easily. We never felt like, oh, she can't do it. Like she was always just really on top of her stuff. She wasn't mean, but it was like we knew not to play with her. Like she set the tone, so it was like we knew what we could and couldn't get away with. So we never really tried her. Like, we were really good crabs. She was a good captain, so it made it easy to be good crabs.
Like, she just seems to be so focused and just ready to dance.
And she is. She just knock out all the BS. It's like, when it's time to work, it's time to work. Right. And we gonna slay. We gonna clean this dance. We gonna clean these counts. She's about the business.
So how was it having a captain and a co-captain? Because now a lot of collegiate teams go out of that co-captain, space. So how was it having two captains?
It really served its purpose in 14. And I say in 14 because in 15, when they got rid of Kayla and Danny, it was kind of like, why do we have a co-captain? Like, that's why we have a co-captain to step in. But it's really nice. I mean, they worked as a dynamic duo. They were definitely night and day, but they still were so the same. But it was like opposite. It was weird, but where one lacked, the other had a strength. So it really worked out nicely. They were a perfect duo. Yeah. I will say.
So how do they differ from each other? Like you say, it's night and day, but is KP more so well? You go ahead.
Danny is feisty. Yeah. She's really fire and ice, sugar and spice. Yeah. That was her. When she chills, she really is chill. But when she not, she not. And she one thing I'll say about Danny is her ability to bust a dance in the middle of just nowhere. Like when we going through a dance and the vets be chilling, sometimes just doing other stuff, and then it's all right, 12, and then they just get up out of nowhere. You'll think they'll be a little rusty because they've been chilling, but no. Danny could really bust a dance out of nowhere. Kayla, her leadership is way more chill. I think she felt like she didn't need to do the most. Yeah. So it was just very motherly, so comforting. And Danny was just it's kind of like when you got two parents. One is like the hard one, and
Yeah.
the other one is like, okay, I'm gonna work with you.
Yeah.
Danny was that hard one,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay. I see that.
Yeah.
As a crab, like, what was the hardest thing to grasp? As far as like, it could be anything.
Right. Hardest thing to grasp, probably for me, it was just the style in general.
Yeah.
Because I had only been dancing in a studio, so to switch it up with this womanly vibe, that was the hardest thing for me. Especially like right before I made the team, Danielle Stamper and some of the other dolls like Connor and KP, when they were working with me prior to me making the team, my correction was always, it's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute. So it's like, whatever. Like, you look good, but it's cute. So the biggest thing for me was transferring from cute to woman, like a grown woman. So that was the biggest thing.
So what did you have to do to get in that, element?
Honestly, you just gotta sell sex.
Yeah, that's yes.
Really, that's just what it is. Yeah. Like, it may not sound too pretty to some people, but that's really what it is.
That's what it is.
You gotta get in that sexy vibe, like, I'm a grown woman.
Yeah.
And you just gotta portray that to the audience.
Yeah, you're right though. You're right. I say that all the time. You're right.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you were the only crab out of your crab class to come back to be a dancing doll again in 2015?
Ooh, 2015, that tryout was insane. I did not expect it at all, and it was really crazy because days before the tryout, the dolls were in the doll room. We were all working together as like a collective. I think it was 8 of us, because my craft sister Bree, she just didn't try out. But all 8 of us were like working together, everybody making sure their dance looked good. And I remember the band director came in and he was like, what y'all so nervous for? Because we was really in there like just grinding, like scared. We don't know what to expect. But he was like, what y'all saw? He was like, I'm going to pick the 9 highest scores. Like, that's all you got to worry about. Just come in there, do your thing, 9 highest scores. So it took a little ease off of us. So we like, okay, just go in there and do your stuff. That's it. So when we were in tryouts and everybody doing their stuff, I see my craft sisters busting they ass across that floor. Leger was hurt. Leger was literally hurt. And she had told Tara she was hurt. But honestly, if you were watching that tryout, you can't even tell she was hurt. She was busting triple turns across the floor. Her leaps were perfect as always. Like, Aisha is just a bomb in general. Like,
definitely.
But they were doing their stuff, and then boom, they didn't even make the team. So
that's crazy.
It was, and it was really, really, really hurtful. Because Ty had got cut like the round before they did. So when she got cut, it really brought the move down a lot. And we were just kind of like trying to regroup on what just happened. Like, we just lost a teammate, and this hadn't happened in a while. Like, usually dolls just, you continue to make the team unless you do something. That you don't make the team the next year. And it's not like we expect favors. Nobody's looking for a handout, but we expect it to be fair.
Right.
But, so Ty got cut, and we were all, like, really distraught behind that. But it's like, dolls, one thing they tell us is the show goes on. Yeah. So we like, okay, let's make sure she together. Let's get our clothes on for the interview. And they're kind of, like, hinting at cutting more people. Because I remember one of my interview questions was, how would you feel if somebody else get cut? And it's like, you want to be like, no, like that, no. What you mean if somebody else get cut? But the thing is, it's like, I remember I was like, I would be really hurt. Like, we're hurt now, and that would hurt more. But obviously the show goes on. You do what you got to do. And then when they got cut, it was like, it was like we were crying and everything, and it sucked for 15 because like they just made a team, and it's not their fault. Like, we still had to build relationships with them, and honestly, Melody was probably the only one that was like confused as to what was going on. But the rest of them knew. The rest of them were kind of like, what the hell just
Right.
happened? Like, I want to be excited, but dang, like, a lot just happened. So it was crazy. They were telling us to fix our face and you need to take these pictures. And we were just like, we are sisters.
Yeah.
Like, this really did hurt us. So, especially because in 2014, everybody was so close. Like, literally the entire team was super close, really genuine. And then they just separated us like it was nothing. Like, yeah, on to the next one.
So did you feel like lonely in 2015?
It was times when I did, because everybody else had Crab Sisters.
Right.
15 was obviously together. And then you got KP and Danny, and you had Connor and Denny. But I was just like the lonesome sometimes. But one thing I will say is everybody really made me feel included. And my Crab Sisters, even though they weren't on the team, they didn't just like throw dolls away. Like they came out on top. They took the high road. They still came around and supported me. So that really is what pushed me, like, because they were like, no, you're not quitting, like, and I didn't really,
keep going.
I didn't have it in my mind to quit, but they were just like, no, you keep going and you put on 14. So, and that's what I did. I was like, and I had their full support. They came, I remember in 2015, they came to the J-State game with, like, these matching shirts, and they brought me one, and it was, like, really sentimental, but I had their support the whole way through. And then I was able to make closer bonds with 15 and then 13 and 12 as well. So it's like, it really sucked, but it all worked out. Like, everything happens for a reason. If they probably didn't get cut, then I probably wouldn't have the relationship that I have with 15. Like, who knows who would have been on that team. So
You're right. And it's behind it, it's behind y'all,
Definitely. Everybody has gotten past it now, but in that moment, it was really hurtful.
Can you explain the meaning behind your crab name, Sensual Flame?
Sensual Flame is, like, really bad. Like, it's very self-explanatory. The way Kayla described it to me was that obviously I had that sensual vibe, the milkiness, the smooth. And it's like I could be a flame when I want to. I could bring that fierceness when I want to. So, and I honestly get a lot of that from KP. Like, people see KP as milk, but it's like, it's more than milk. KP has a little fierce behind that milk that she got going. So, I was really inspired by KP my whole tenure with dolls. So, I'm glad my crab name shows for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How was it going from crab to tail? And what did being tail teach you?
Crab, I never really realized that I went from crab to tail. But it was cool. And I was excited to have it. I got a lot of my tips from my crab sister, Leger. She told me the things that she did, and she was just kind of like, you make it your own. And this is what everybody else does, but, like, you add your own flair to it. So it was really fun to be to add that it's sensual into my tail. Just coming up with, like, I think my first year I was way more just like kind of by the book of tail, and then in 16 I kind of explored more into the creative side of it, but the videographers don't always catch it. I'm like, dang, I don't even remember what I did, but I remember it was fire.
I loved when you was tail. You just gave it, like, it was just soft, and it was just,
yeah, it was just real cute.
But what would you say would be your favorite tail moment?
My favorite tail moment is definitely Alabama State 2015 when I did the little wave or whatever. I don't know. The commentary is what makes that most memorable for me. Yeah. It's like they knew what I was doing. They was like, and I was like, how did you know? Like, I didn't even know what I was doing in that moment.
Oh my God.
That's definitely my top tail moment.
Okay. Did you ever want to be captain? Like, officially?
Yeah, I wanted to be captain, but it wasn't like I'm pressed to be captain. Yeah. Like, if it happened, great. If it didn't, I'm grateful to be on the team at the end of the day. So it was definitely on my mind to, like, I could possibly do that one day, but that wasn't my sole focus.
Yeah. If we would have gotten you as a captain, what do you think your vibe would be like? Do you think you would go back? Do you think that you would go, move
Yeah.
forward?
When I was in 2016, when I was kind of like, well, after I had to lead and stuff, and I was thinking like, okay, next year I could possibly be in the front, so you need to have some ideas. I was more so, I didn't focus much on the dance side of it. Now, yeah, I love the 14 season. That was my, like, for the dance vibe of it, I wanted to look like 14 but new.
Yeah.
But I was more so focused on how to evolve the team outside of dancing, because I think there's ways to evolve a team without changing its style and its original grasp. So my goal was like, I was looking at different looks to do, and not necessarily switching up the uniform, but like for homecoming, I wanted to do kind of like a throwback. The dolls used to wear these headpieces, and not nothing crazy, but like it used to be like a headband, and then they have like a feather or something.
Oh yeah, I know.
I kind of wanted to, just pay the first half of homecoming, just pay tribute to those forever dolls when everybody comes home. I wanted to like have that, maybe some longer gloves, just for the first half, and then the second half go back to our, what we do now. So that stuff I was looking at. I wanted to bring back trench coats, because the capes, I wasn't going to omit the capes, but the capes don't really keep us warm. So when it's like really cold, I want us to have blue trench coats, because they've had yellow ones in the past. So just trying to think of new stuff that we could bring. And hair. I wanted to like wear buns, which I'm glad I've seen they started doing. I wanted to bring back the buns. And I also wanted to incorporate the natural hair. So at the time, they had some girls who have a beautiful natural curl pattern. And I thought that was important to showcase from the dolls, because I think a lot of younger girls have kind of lost along the way. Like, they think they have to wear weave and straight hair, because it's like, that's what you see the college girls do. And it's like, I wanted to show that it's okay to embrace your black beauty. Yeah, so a couple games, or maybe just one game, I wanted to have natural hair from the teammates that wanted to do it.
And you know what? That's important. Like the little things, the small things. That's very important.
Yeah, for really sure. Is. Another thing I say that I was like really excited to talk to the band director about was, I wanted to have the idea of like a fundraiser. And the fundraiser was going to be about kind of having a mini audition for little girls, like from 6 to 12 maybe. And I got this idea from when the little girl danced with the dolls at Bayou Classic in 08, or I think it was 08. But I wanted to have an audition and have the team pick like one or two girls early on in the season, and then prepare them so they can dance with us for Bayou Classic. I thought it was a cool thing for them to, like, they get the full uniform and dance with us on the field and everything.
That's cute.
I just wanted to find ways to give back to the community and help a little girl maybe achieve her dream a little quicker than she expected to.
That's you know what? That's cute. I like that.
Hopefully they can still do it.
They can.
It doesn't have to be me. That's just it.
They can. So how did you feel in 2016 when you were able to fully dance in public in front of the dolls?
Yeah, that was really thrown at me. I was super, super nervous, but I couldn't show it. I will say that week leading up to, I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of just trying to cram everything and just looking at older captains, how they threw count selections, and then just kind of reflecting back on my crab year when Kayla would teach us how she throws counts and what she thinks about. So it was... When I look back on it, I'm so glad that I had that opportunity to do that for those two games, because I didn't know what was ahead for the next season. I didn't know what was about to happen. So God does everything for a reason, and I'm really glad that I was able to experience that. It was nice though. I was nervous in the moment, especially at the first game.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Bayou Classic came around, I was a little bit more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
I felt more prepared, but the first game, I was like really trying to get out of my head.
Mm. So I mean, did like when it came to Bayou Classic, did you feel like how did you feel going into the stadium, like doing your strut, baby? That strut was it. That strut was it.
Thank you. My mind was just to look like a grown woman.
Yeah.
Like just do what dolls is. Like it's not hard. Just do what you've been taught.
Yeah.
And honestly, the aroma, the vibe
Mm-hmm.
of the dome, it gives you an adrenaline that you don't have to work hard for. It's just
Right.
like it's there in you. So it was a rush for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It was exciting.
Yeah. Cause let me tell you something. That strut is iconic. Like,
Oh, it's so
how did you learn the strut like that? Like, it was just.
I don't know, cause like I don't know what switched from
Mm-hmm.
when I was just in the back, and then what switched from when I was in the front. Cause me personally, I don't think my strut looks the same from when I was in the front to
Right.
the back. Maybe that front position just gives you an extra like, girl, you leading the team,
Right.
and they have to
Yeah.
feed off of your energy, and they have to feed off of how you look. So I think the team naturally gave me that extra push, their support. I could just feel their radiance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it really helped me to do what I needed to do. I mean, I learned the strut like everybody. Like, I learned it from my captain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I didn't really focus much on the strut. I guess it just naturally came that way. Like I said, from the energy that you feel.
Yeah.
And then when you're in front of the human jukebox, it's like,
And then it's Bayou Classic too. So
right.
Yeah.
It's like, it was just so much that was like, girl, just throw it all together.
You did it, baby. You did it. Period.
Thank you.
How did you feel in 2017 when you weren't able to come back as a dancing doll?
Yeah, that was really crazy. Leading up to 17 tryouts, I have been hearing a lot of rumors saying that I could possibly be cut, but it's like, I typically don't really listen to rumors because if it's not coming from the source, then I don't respect it.
Right.
So nobody ever came to me if there was an issue. Nobody ever tried to ask me, well, what is going on? Like, I heard this. What's going on? What do you have to say? Nobody ever came to me like that. So I was like, just blocking it all out. Like, whatever, I'm going to go in tryouts, do what I got to do. Mm-hmm. Prior to tryouts, I didn't know that Danielle was coming back. I think some of the team members did, but I didn't know. I think one person on the team told me like maybe a day or two before tryouts, like, she's gonna be there. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But even then, it wasn't like I was scared. It was just like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm still gonna go in there and do what I gotta do to be on the team. So, I'm just going through tryouts, doing what I normally do, not feeling like it's in the bag. Because I think I remember hearing, like, I was cocky or something in tryouts. And it's like, I've tried out for 3 years prior to. I know how to conduct myself in tryouts. I would never, ever. I saw my craft sisters get cut. I've seen other dolls get cut. I've seen my captain and co-captain get suspended for nothing. So I knew not to come in there playing. So that I could dead that rumor. I knew to come in there on my A game. I was not laughing or any other things that I've heard. I was not laughing at other girls. I was conducting myself as I always do. One thing I will say about the 17 process was that it was different. The vibe, the energy felt very different. We had different judges. There was maybe like one judge that was like normally there, but there were other judges that's like, you're not usually a judge. And I also felt it was a bit unfair because 2 of the judges that were there, they were also mentors of people who are on the team. When they started that doll mentorship thing, mentor-mentee. So it was kind of like, that's a conflict of interest. Like, you really shouldn't be able to be a judge. But I just feel like it was a lot of people judging me off of things that they knew nothing about.
Right.
And I could respect it more if you asked me about it, but nobody ever came to me trying to clarify anything. It was just, you probably took one person's word for it and you ran with it, and you were like, yep, that's who she is, that's how she acts, that's who she is behind closed doors. And I think they acted accordingly off of that. And I went after we got cut, me and Alex went back to Hamer, like, what just happened? Like, because, I mean, you're not about to tell me. And he did. He was like, your scores were low. And we like, Mr. Hamer, I made this team 1, 2, 3 times before. My scores were never an issue. I didn't come in there any differently. If anything, I was more on my stuff because now I see myself as a vet, like as a leader. Like when you come into tryouts as a senior, you set the tone. Yeah. So that was my mindset. I set the tone for everybody else in this room. So no, it wasn't my dancing. It wasn't my scores. I'm not cocky at all. I'm not at all. But I know what I was doing in that room. So when he's like the scores, it's like, it's just not adding up. Yeah, it's like, I'm telling you, the scores were not, they just put numbers on the paper at this point. Yeah. But honestly, it was like, we could kind of feel the energy that like we weren't going to get the help. And it was like, I'm not going to fight to be on a team that clearly doesn't want me here. Yeah. So it was really just accepting that, swallowing that hard pill, like, you know what, life goes on. And it was like, I knew Dolls wasn't going to be forever for me anyway. I was expecting 1 to 4 years. So some people don't even make it to 3. So I was like, I'm going to take I'm going to take everything I got and I'm going to just walk out with my head held high. It was crazy. I do feel like it was unfair. I don't mind saying that. I do think it was crazy. Yeah. And I honestly still don't have real answers about that year. It was just, they just left it alone, and so did I, because it was just like, I got other things to focus on. And I also took that as God telling me to open your eyes to everything else in the world, because there was a point in time where it was like, Dolls is everything. Like, oh, I'm a doll, I'm just having fun. And I think that was his way of like, girl, get it together. You got other stuff going. And I'm so glad he did that to me, because I wouldn't want to be stuck in that world and not able to get out of it, not knowing what to do with myself once Dolls is over. So I'm really glad that everything happened the way that it did. It hurt at the time, but like, I definitely got over it pretty quickly. I still came around and supported.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
I went to the games literally that season. I went to not all of them, but I went to a good bit of the games. I went to Bayou Classic. We couldn't go in the doll room because the rules had changed a bit. I think leadership changed. I don't know. Things had changed and we couldn't really go in there like usually, but other than that, I was still my normal self. Like, I speak to those that I know did me wrong. That's just who I am as a person. I'm not going to hold it over somebody's head. That's not my responsibility. I just let God deal with those people, because he know truly what was done. So I just go about my life. I can't worry about everybody else.
You got to keep moving. So how was Datara as a sponsor?
Datara was all I knew. So when it came to comparing to other sponsors, I don't really know, because 12 and 13, they got to experience Bridget, and then they had UT. She was cool, especially in 14. We all had a really, really close relationship with Datara. I do think it kind of switched once people started getting kicked off the team. We felt like, because she was so close to us in 14, and it was like, we thought you would have protected us. And then, the more stuff started happening, the further the relationship grew apart. So, I think she still did her job as far as like making sure we were good with uniforms and tights and whatever we needed. She was definitely there for that. She made sure that we didn't feel uncomfortable when we were at games. especially in 14, DT was about that because sometimes we would have like disrespectful people saying stuff to us and she'll get them in line real quick.
Yeah.
So as far as like her sponsorship, she definitely did her job with that. I think things kind of fell through when it came to creating relationships because honestly, that probably wasn't the best thing to do because at the end of the day, she has a job of sponsor. So when it comes to cutting people, you can't be mad that people feel some type of way about you because we created that bond.
Right.
So
right.
it just naturally happened that way.
Yeah. Oh, that's understandable. That's understandable.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite field show is?
I have a lot of them. Probably from 14 is definitely Call Me. Call Me is something that I wanted to bring back if I got the 17th season. But definitely Call Me. From 15, I really like the good bit of 15 shows. I like Stanley from Bayou Classic, and I like Gush from, I don't even know what game that was, but I like Gush when Connor was in leadership. And in 16, I like No Filter. That was a bomb-ass field show. Yeah.
What was your favorite uniform?
Favorite uniforms are traditional and Jaguar.
Oh yeah, I love Jaguar. Yes, I love
Jaguar. Just make you feel like a different woman.
Oh yes, and it just fits perfectly.
Yes, it's crazy because that uniform is not something that's made by like one of our normal seamsters. That was something that they just bought out of a store.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I did hear that. I did hear that. Yeah. What was your least favorite?
Probably something that made us uncomfortable. We call it swimsuit. It's the white uniform. It literally looks like a swimsuit. It has like a gold diamond like right there.
Yeah.
I don't really like that one as much just because it's uncomfortable. Like if we move too much, you'd probably see a boob. So that one is kind of really uncomfortable to dance in.
Yeah. What was your favorite Stan song?
Oh, that's so hard to pick. I can't even sing. But I like the slow jams. I'm not a fast. I don't really care for the fast songs, but the lit and the medium and the slow songs are pretty much any one of those.
Because it's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe.
Yeah. Definitely.
You can really throw what you really want to throw.
Yes, and you got time to think and actually do the count instead of just trying to get through it with the fast ones.
Yeah. So what was your favorite overall season out of all your seasons?
14, without a doubt. 14 was just so genuine. And then outside of the inside, when you look at the team, I feel like that was the most clean we have been in a while. Everyone just really molded together. It wasn't really a who looks better than who. Everybody was just kind of dancing as a team. And that's what I prefer. I prefer when a team just looks like one. I don't like when it's like one person stands out. And it's like, yes, you look great, but can you make everybody else look great like you?
Exactly.
I think that's when you really can like dominate a season.
What was your favorite catch-on, and which catch-ons did you make?
I got so many favorite catch-ons. Probably my all-time fave is this catch-on. I don't know why, but that one just always comes to my head. But actually, as far as the catch-ons that I made 10 catch-ons, and I know that because I'm getting ready to do a video for my YouTube channel where I'm going to teach all of the catch-ons that I brought to Dancing Dolls.
Okay, so we're going to hold it.
Yeah! Stay tuned.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to hold it. We're going to hold it. How do you feel about the new doll style?
I think they are kind of getting back to a little bit of the traditional. It works for them. If I was on a team, I feel like I probably would struggle because they do a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they still are clean and they still just dance as a team. I do think it's evolving, but I mean it evolved a lot from dolls, but I think they're getting back to a little bit of like mixing the two, which I appreciate that. I don't ever want to see the doll style just like completely go because it wasn't popular at the time.
Right. Did you enjoy doing the HBCU dance affair?
Yeah, it's crazy because I've heard the experiences of, but I didn't have those problems when I did it, and that's not to discredit what they are saying, because I'm pretty sure they're not lying. But me personally, I didn't have bad experiences with the HBCU dance affair. It was pretty. It was cool, you know. I enjoy teaching other girls and dancing with other dancers, so that part of it was fun. As far as the logistics, I got my money on time and stuff like that, so I didn't really have any issues with it.
That's good.
Right. Thank God.
You were not a victim. Okay.
Right, I was not a victim.
Can you give some girls advice to wanting to be an engineer field?
Ooh, yeah. Being in the engineering field as a woman, as a Black woman, is tough. Now you may get the job a little easier just because they need diversity in the company, but when it comes to on the job, they're gonna assume that you don't know as much as they know, and I've experienced that a lot. Like when I pull up on sites, construction sites, some of the guys are like, "Oh, you looking for the meeting room?" And it's like, no, I have my hard hat and my boots just like you. I'm here to work in the field just like you. So you kind of have to deal with the stereotypes a bit, but if you just do your stuff, and honestly, we have to work a bit harder just to prove ourselves. So be ready for that, to just go the extra mile to even be considered the norm. Right. Be prepared for that. I will say my company, like when I work specifically in my office, I don't really have those problems. Everybody's pretty good with my company, but you will deal with the people who just automatically assume she's a woman and she don't know nothing. So you have to go that extra mile.
That's crazy.
It is, but the money is worth it.
Hey, that's true. Overall, how hard was it, juggling school, being a dancing doll, dating a drum major, and also being a student? Like, how hard was that?
I think I became very accustomed to it. Like, you just gotta roll with the punches. You can't make excuses for yourself. Nobody's gonna care that you got all this going on, because it's like you chose to have all that going on. So you just gotta, if that's the life you choose, you just gotta go with it. It took a lot of time management and just managing school was always first. Get your school out the way. Because honestly, if you don't do your school, then you're not a doll and you're not an AKA. So that's the most important part, is to go there what you came there for, which is your education. After that, it was more so just setting your priorities. So it was school, then dolls. Well, obviously my relationship, that was like top thing for me. But school, dolls, and then I'd say AKA. And I say that because dolls was more demanding than AKA was. So that I just had to set my priorities and realize what I could and couldn't go to, because I still wanted to have a social life. It's like, I want to go to the union, I want to go to the parties, but just making sure you got everything that you are supposed to have done before you start to do all the other stuff.
Right. Yeah. Time management.
For sure, 100%. A planner kept me on my toes. Like, you definitely, if you have that much going on in your life, you need a planner. Because writing it down, that's what kept me on track. I still use a planner to this day, because if I didn't, I would forget so much stuff.
I can't use a planner for some reason. I tried.
What? And how do you make it work? Because I'm pretty sure you're busy with YouTube,
baby, let me tell you
and
something.
editing and everything you gotta do.
I don't even have a break, okay?
Right, I'm knowing.
I don't even have a break. But
long as you make it work.
Yeah, I make it work. And I'm working at the same time. I make it work. I make it work.
And you voted today, period.
If you could pick 8 dolls for your all-star dream team, who would be on your team?
That is so not
Give
fair.
give us something now. We want something. Give us something.
Woo! Am I included in that?
Yes, you are included. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, man.
Let's go with 9. Let's go with 9.
Okay, let's say 9. Okay, so I have to pick 8. Oh, God. So off rip, I have to do my craft sisters. That's just off rip.
Yeah.
So that's 3. And then we have KP and Danny, 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just have to start picking my favorites, like Tracy Prince, Casey Griggs. Oh, I got one more.
You gotta go with your fave now.
You're right. I have to go with April.
Yeah.
That's my 8.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my 8. Woof. That's not fair because I left out so many people.
Yeah. It's okay though. It's okay.
Right, it's okay. It's not real. It's fantasy.
Right. For current dolls, who really catches your eye?
Ooh. I love 17 as a collective. I can't wait to see them take over. I wouldn't say just one person because I like to look at an entire squad.
Yeah.
I like when videographers pull out and you can see the entire squad and how they mold together. But I feel like naturally I gravitate to 17. They seem to be very milky, kind of like the Kayla era of dolls.
Yeah.
They look great. And they all look great, but I think that's who I gravitate more towards when I watch the videos.
Yeah.
And naturally so. They're the seniors, so I hope they do stand out a little bit.
I'm ready to see this upcoming season.
Yes.
I'm ready to see.
I need a video because this thing gets then can't.
You see that?
They got my attention.
Okay. Okay. As far as being a forever doll, do you feel like you left your mark? Do you feel like you set the example?
I like to say I do. I did. Especially with the strut, I hear, obviously I hear the fans, but when I hear actual dolls come back to me and tell me that they love my strut and they study my strut, that really makes me feel great. And I just love being that for them. Mm-hmm. So I think I put on for 14. That was my main goal, was to nobody is going to forget about 14. Mm-hmm. Like, even though my craft sisters had 1 year, you still going to remember that 14 was a part. They had crabs in 14. Yeah. They didn't disappear. They were bomb dancers. So I think I did what I came to do.
I definitely feel like you left your mark. Definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. What made you start your YouTube channel?
Fans did. So specifically, my boyfriend and I, we were babysitting his nephew. Mm-hmm. And at the time, this was like the end of 2016, kind of going into the beginning of 2017. Mm-hmm. He was watching De'Ara and Ken. Mm-hmm. And we were obviously watching it with him because that's all we could watch. He was watching it. So we was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, we could do this. Yeah. So then we got on Instagram Live and we were like, hey, would y'all like us to start a YouTube channel? And everybody was like, yes, absolutely. So we just took that and ran with it. We was like, okay, we got a support base, so we going to go with it. We asked them what they wanted to be called. It's funny because at first we were calling our supporters B and M Nation, but I'm so glad it changed to the BM Crew. It's just more Louisiana, like the crew, because we spell it crew like a crew at Mardi Gras or something, Krewe. So, yeah, we love it a lot.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about being a YouTube creator?
Being able to express yourself on your own. Like, before YouTube, you had to have connections with the TV network or something. But now you have the access to put out whatever you want to put out. Right. So I like having that freedom and the ability to express yourself and just get everything out to the world that you want to get out on YouTube, and you don't have to pay anything for it. It's just you can upload it whenever you want to.
Yeah, if we get paid.
If we get paid. Right, that's the top 2.
Okay.
Yes.
I got 3 more questions. Outside of the dolls, what other team do you watch?
I watch whoever comes across my timeline. A lot of the times it's the Stingettes, the J sets. One team that really catches my eye that I don't see a lot are the PV Foxes. They look really great, especially to say they have so many girls on their team. They're so clean. Yeah, probably those. The GGs, obviously, I see them a lot on my timeline. So really, it's more so who's on my timeline, because I don't really go look for it on my YouTube. If anything, I'm just watching doll videos, but they catch my eye for sure, those other teams. Stingettes, J6.
Now, let me ask you this one question. Do you ever get tired of answering, doll questions? Like, do you ever feel like, I'm more than just a doll?
No, I don't really get aggravated by it because I understand what it means to the fans. Like, you may be over it, but somebody probably just started watching your videos. So I don't really get annoyed by it. I just take it for what it, like, that's what I signed up for. When I said I wanted to be a doll, you are signing up for their fan base as well. So you just have to deal with the pros and cons of the fans, really. So I don't get aggravated with it.
That's good. That's good. You stay positive with it.
Yeah, for sure.
And last question. What advice would you give a young girl that wants to be a dancing doll?
I would say do your homework when it comes to preparing for the team, and not necessarily history. I mean, like, go to classes, go to like ballet and jazz classes, get your technique up to par. Look at their social medias and how they carry themselves in the public light, because that's also a really big part of dancing dolls. You have to have a clean image because you're representing a university. So look into all of those things. What?
I got one more question.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, dolls not being able to do certain things? Like, you can't be seen going to, like, certain, like collabs, for instance. Current dolls can't do collabs. Like, how do you feel about that?
So I don't know all of their rules specifically, but I it's like I get it, because dolls and, or whatever team, you need an exclusiveness about it, and you need to be able to control the content that they're putting out there. However, I will say, if it's not something that's harming the organization, I don't see a issue with it. When you do things like collabs, like, what harm is it doing the squad by doing a collab like that? Because honestly, this is 2020. You have to evolve the team. You have to move with the world. So, and videography is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you have to tap into that industry. That may be what brings your squad to a completely different level when it comes to Hollywood and just branding, if that's what they're going for. When it comes to branding, you're going to have to do certain things like that. So I get some of the rules. Like, I get it. You want to make sure that they're not doing anything that's going to harm themselves or the organization. But I think sometimes it can become a little too strict and controlling, because at the end of the day, they are women themselves. Like, I was Maya before I was Maya the Dancing Dolls, Maya after Maya the Dancing Dolls, and so are the other girls. So I do think you need rules to keep it in line, but I think there should be some type of branding and branching out when it comes to stuff like that.
Okay. I like your input. Yeah. But I want to thank you so much for coming here.
Yeah, thank you for calling me. I'm
glad
you asked me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad the people get to hear.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. So, I'll talk to you later. Thank you once again.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Good talking to you.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.